Being a disabled gamer, I use plenty of different adaptations to try and make gaming easier and more comfortable for myself. One device that I've never actually found an alternative to that provides a similar level of comfort and performance is my mouse. I've tried everything from trackables to touch screens, but nothing seems to work as well as a normal regular mouse. But in one of my recent YouTube videos, I had a lot of suggestions saying, why don't you try a graphics tablet? Which makes plenty of sense because I can actually hold a pen miles better than I can hold a mouse. So being the ballsy YouTuber I am, I reached out to Wacom being like, howdy, do you want to sponsor a YouTuber that wants to look at using one of your graphics tablets to make gaming more accessible? To which we got a resounding yes, of course. Well, in the perfect world we would have, but that's not reality and we got a big fat no. So I thought, let's be a responsible adult and not buy anything we don't actually need. And that was going so well until I wandered past Curry's, told myself I wouldn't go in, but ended up coming out with a Wacom Intuos. I then left it in the box, judging myself for the next few days. But then I thought, what am I doing just leaving it inside its box? So I decided to get it out on my Twitch stream and set it up and give it a go. Like every new device I get, the first challenge always seems to be initially setting it up, which vast majority of the time is basically just trying to open the box itself. But once I got the box open, it was time to look at the goodies inside. The device came with the tablet, for which I chose the larger size, which is 10.4 inches by 7.6 inches. And obviously I got it in teal because it's far prettier than the black one. Obviously, the device wouldn't be complete without the pen, which has 2 additional buttons on it, and then a micro USB cable, which is required for charging and also during the initial setup of the device, which angered me no end because I absolutely hate having to set up USBs, which aren't the holy grail of a USB-C. After what felt like an eternity, plug in the USB into my USB extender and the tablets itself, I was ready to install the drivers, which you can download from the Wacom website. Once the drivers were installed and the PC was restarted, I was greeted by the tablet's user interface, which is where we spent probably 85% of the stream just trying to work out the perfect settings to be able to use the tablets in my games. In the settings, there were 4 tabs which we used to customize the tablet to try and match my needs. These tabs were labeled tablet, which allowed me to simply adjust the buttons that were on the top of the tablet to match whatever input I would like them to be. Mapping, which let you choose how the tablet would act, which is whether the tablet would basically act like a pen. And the other is mouse mode, which I chose because it allows you to easily move around the cursor on your screen by using the pen and tablet. Once I had selected mouse mode, there were 3 further settings in that setting menu. The first was mouse speed, which I assume is the equivalent of your mouse's DPI. The next is mouse height, which is the maximum height you can lift the pen before it stops being able to control the cursor on your PC. And finally, the mouse acceleration, which reflects how far the cursor moves across the screen in relation to the speed at which you are moving the pen across the tablet. Next in the option of the tabs was screen shortcuts, which I didn't really think would be relevant within gaming, so I just skipped that. So we just went on to the final options, which is pen options. Here you can adjust the pressure you exert on the pen in order for the device to register a click of your mouse. You can also set the inputs which the buttons on the pen perform and the distance the pen can travel in order to register as a double click. After messing around with the settings, I jumped into the Overwatch training ground to see whether this investment would have any chance of improving my gameplay. The first issue I encountered was working out the maximum height the pen can be away from the tablet in order to move the cursor. In my mind, I thought I could easily just rest the pen on the tablet and have it move around on there without clicking or doing anything like that. However, I was wrong, and just simply resting the pen on the tablet was enough pressure to register a click, which became incredibly annoying as when playing Sojourn, as soon as I had enough alt charged, it would fire automatically, often missing the target I was aiming at because it was fired at the completely wrong time. I tried to solve this by changing the button inputs on my pen to be left click on the mouse, which would then activate Sojourn's alt fire. This was incredibly awkward though, because every time I would click on the button on the pen, my little finger would knock the pen, leading to me completely adjust my shot and miss it most of the time. So will the tablet actually work and be useful for me in my gaming? After playing around with it for a little bit, I've come to the conclusion that it'll be really useful for my aim, as I have the extra bit of fine motor control that I don't really have when I use a mouse. The only issue I do have is being able to control and manage the other inputs that I normally would do with my mouse that the tablet doesn't really offer. But I've come up with two solutions for this. One I can do, and one I kind of need support from Wacom. We'll talk about Wacom first. So with Wacom, as I showed earlier, you can adjust the pen sensitivity for how much pressure you put down on the pen before it registers a click. However, when you slide this to the maximum required pressure in order to register a click, it's still quite easy to click the button just by tapping the pen. Currently, even when you press down on the pen at the moment, on the maximum settings, it's still quite a light force to register a click. So all I need is for Wacom to allow extra pressure to be pushed down on the pen before a click is registered. That way I'll be able to rest the pen on the tablet and move it around at the same time and just exert that extra bit of force whenever I actually want to click. The other solution which I'm planning on investigating is trying to find another form of input device that I can use to perform left click or other mouse buttons I would normally use with my mouse whilst using the pen. My only issue is that right now on my setup, basically all my working body parts are already performing actions on my PC and in my gaming setup. My right hand does my movement, my left hand will be either on my mouse or my pen, my mouth is working on blowing and sucking on the tube, and also my voice macros. So I'm running out of workable options that I can think of in order to control my PC and use this tablet. But if any of you geniuses out there have any form of idea that I could implement into my setup, please let me know so then I can solve this issue and get using this graphic tablet properly as I intended to. However, in the meantime, I am going to investigate using it in games that don't require as many inputs as Overwatch does. So I'm going to start a series where I play Valorant using this graphics tablet and see how high a rank we can reach. So make sure you subscribe if you want to keep up to date with that series. As always, keep well and I'll see you soon. Bye guys.